Hi everyone, I'm Mrs. Holly from North Pontotoc Middle School, and today I'm going to be talking to you about Common Core RL74, focusing only on figurative language at this particular video. It says to determine the meaning of words and phrases as they are used in a text, including figurative and connotative meanings, analyze the impact of specific word choices on meaning and tone, including analogies or allusions to other texts. Now, this could have a lot of different things that are contained in it, so we can't just do one video with everything for this standard. It's so jam-packed with things. So right now we're just going to focus on figurative language only. I'm going to explain what it is and how it's used, but most importantly, why it's used in a text, which is where you guys are at now. When we hit 7th grade and up, we have to really start asking ourselves, why did this author choose this particular figurative language here instead of another one? So we're going to look at that. Did you do your homework?
Yes, teacher, yes. It must have jumped out of my backpack on the way to school.
Here we have an example of personification. Personification is when you give human characteristics to non-human things. The homework is not human, but the student gives it human characteristics by saying it jumped out of the backpack. Why would the student do this? Two reasons are possible. Either the student thinks the teacher will actually believe it, which is unlikely, or the student is attempting to alleviate the situation with humor, hoping the teacher will laugh and not be angry. Let's see how that works out. This is an example of an idiom. The teacher cannot literally see through the student, but she does not believe the lie of the homework jumping out of the backpack. Therefore, she can see through the lie the student told. An idiom is when something is not possible. So why does the teacher say such a silly thing that she can see through the kid? Because obviously it confuses the child. Two reasons are possible. She either wants to confuse the student as a punishment, unlikely, or she wants to emphasize the fact that she does not believe the lie and the student should not try to be funny in a serious situation. Let's see how they handle it.
I can see straight through you. You cannot make me laugh with a ridiculous story like that.
This is an example of an idiom. The teacher cannot literally see through the student, but she does not believe the lie of the homework jumping out of the backpack. Therefore, she can see through the lie the student told. An idiom is when something is not possible. So why does the teacher say such a silly thing that she can see through the kid? Because obviously it confuses the child. Two reasons are possible. She either wants to confuse the student as a punishment, unlikely, or she wants to emphasize the fact that she does not believe the lie and the student should not try to be funny in a serious situation. Let's see how they handle it.
Okay, look, I admit I didn't do the homework, but you don't have to get so angry.
Well, you didn't have to lie, even to tell a bad joke.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, look, let's just both calm down, okay?
Did you notice the teacher's tone change and with it the mood? The tone is the emotion in a person's voice. The emotion sets the mood of the situation. The teacher was angry and her voice showed it. The student felt uncomfortable, which is the mood set by the teacher's anger. When the tone changed, how did it change the mood? The student admitted to lying and expressed her discomfort to the teacher. The teacher changed to a softer tone and the mood settled.
Teacher! Oh,
What is it?
I hereby vow to work as hard as a dog chasing his tail.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, that's one way to get her attention. The student used, very dramatically, a simile, when she compared her work ethic to that of a dog chasing its tail. Now, we have some confusion here sometimes between a simile and a metaphor. A simile is when you make a comparison between two unlike things, in this case, the student and a dog chasing its tail. But a simile is when you use like or as to make that comparison. She could have also used like, but she used as, and that's okay. Either one's fine. The comparison is strange, but it works because when a dog chases after its own tail, it really does work pretty hard. The student used this particular comparison because she wants the teacher to believe she'd be working hard to complete all her work.
Yes.
My homework, madam.
Thank you, my dear. You have been a perfect little bee. You complete anything you put your mind to.
Okay, this is another comparison of two unlike things, but it's slightly different than the one before. The teacher does not use like or as, so the comparison is a metaphor. She compares the student to a bee, an animal who works very hard to accomplish its task. When the bee is done, it moves on to the next task without stopping. This comparison is a metaphor. It's meant to compliment the student and inspire her to keep working hard. Now, taking a look at the simile and the metaphor, we need to introduce a whole new word, analogy. Both a simile and a metaphor are analogies. An analogy is a comparison that is used for a logical argument to explain how things that may seem different are actually alike. A student working like a bee, okay? They're alike in their work ethic, all right? A student working like a dog chasing its tail. They're both working very hard. So these are both analogies. A metaphor and simile are different. They're both comparing two things that are opposites or different things that are not comparable, but they make a comparison. But they are also both analogies because they are both comparisons.
My grades have come up a lot. All the work I've done, my teachers have given me. It really isn't hard. And I study every night.
Yeah, I know. You've barely been on Snapchat or met me for ice cream. Must be exhausting.
Man, you have no idea. I'm ready for this long weekend. I could sleep for a week.
Hyperbole, an extreme exaggeration. Do not confuse this with an idiom. Okay, just like a simile and a metaphor are different slightly, they're same but they're different. An idiom and a hyperbole can be confusing too because they're both extreme exaggerations. The difference is that an idiom can never actually happen. A hyperbole can. Hyperbole is when you exaggerate. It can happen, but it probably will not. The hyperbole, I could sleep for a week, could actually happen, but it most likely won't. A hyperbole is a statement that can actually happen, but probably never will. The student uses the hyperbole to make sure her friend knows exactly how exhausted she really is.
I'm gonna get you!
Sit in your seats! Stay sitting! And stop speaking!
The teacher used alliteration, the repeated consonant sound, to get their attention, to emphasize her seriousness. It worked with a little help from her forceful, firm tone.
I thought I'd walked into the party at the base of Mount Sinai. Really? I was alluding to the Bible story of when Moses went up to the mountain to receive the 10 Commandments, and when he came down, The people were all partying and playing instead of doing what they were supposed to be doing.
She explained it already, but an allusion is when someone mentions a character or story different from what is actually going on in that moment. So she uses the allusion to the Bible story to explain to students how badly they were behaving. And usually this allusion is brought from something that's commonly known by most of the people in your audience that you're talking to. Okay, now bear with me, people. I am going to read to you, and I have a good reason. So sit back, relax, and don't go to sleep. It won't take long. Joanna lay still, breathing deeply, hoping for a wisp of breeze, but none came. She sucked in the humid thickness with a hint of honeysuckle in her lungs and coughed gently. Her short, dark, matted hair looked like a battlefield of broken limbs. Covers lay strewn about as if her body had joined the fray, the war of heat and sleep. A pond of clear, slightly flowing water mingled with the apple-green algae sat undisturbed only half a mile from her house, but the thought of moving surged waves of pain from the battlefield of hair to the cowardly soul, now causing her heart to more than murmur with trepidation. One last swim the night before, she told herself then, but now the mirror stillness, the promise of relief from heat and fear, the promise of peace, if for only a moment, called to her soul. One last morning swim? Yes, just one last. And then she must face the day. With reluctance, Joanna opened her eyes, allowed one last tear to fall, and rose to seek the protection of the secluded pool with her private woods that would only be found in her mind for months, maybe years. This is imagery, very descriptive imagery. Had I not given you a picture to look at while you read, you would still be able to picture the pond in your mind. Also, you did not get a picture of the girl, but from her description, you were able to picture her in your mind, because we've all woken up now and then, tangled in the covers and sometimes wishing the air conditioner was on. Authors give you imagery because you are above picture books. They want you to be able to see and feel and taste everything about the situation you're reading. They want you to literally feel like you are in the story. Okay, review time. This standard has more to it than what was covered in this video, but it is all related. Every time a figurative language term or phrase was demonstrated, metaphor, simile, personification, the person was speaking figuratively. The imagery in the description of the girl and the pond used connotation when describing the girl's battle with heat, sleep, and the bed covers. One might picture an actual battlefield at first because that is what is implied with the word choice. But we know that the girl simply had a difficult time sleeping because of the heat, and the covers became tangled as she tossed and turned. Finally, yes, you are finally at the end of the video. Every explanation of why the figurative language was used was an analysis. After reviewing each scene and determining which figurative language was used, we analyzed why the student or teacher chose it. Just like when you are reading a story and you're in class or at home or wherever, and you question yourself, why did that kid do that? Why did that character do that? It's the same thing when you're looking at figurative language. Why did the author use this instead of that? Why did the author just not use straight up language? Why choose figurative language? And so once you ask yourself that question, you begin answering it, you've analyzed, and now you're ready to move up. You guys, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and I hope to see you soon. Bye.